Hi everyone, and welcome back to my Roxy inspired card challenge week 7. And I saw this card on Pinterest, so I pinned it. I really liked it. If you can see the detail, how she stitched, and I like how she used text on that little thing. So it's a great way to use up your scraps, and I like that it's on a very plain background, so it just has that really neat blank space that sometimes you really need just to appreciate the flower that's on that page. So although I do not have this particular die or punch, I'm going to make do with what I have. So I'll show you what I've done so far. Okay, what I really liked about that particular card was the stitching. But I also didn't feel like hauling out my sewing machine and setting it up because I'm super lazy like that. So I decided to use my Sew Easy tool. I'm sure a lot of you have these. You know, the head just pivots off and it comes with a whole bunch of different stitches. So I just used the straight stitch. So the punch, I'm going to work on that text leaf. And what I did, little tip, the text paper is quite thin because most of it is old, as you know. So I just glued two of them together with a glue stick. I'm using this punch from Stampin' Up, and I just concentrated on that big petal there. So I'm just going to pop this in here and just pop up that one leaf there. Move that to the side. This one here. So what I simply did with the Sew Easy is I started at the end of the petal where it curves around. And I just went like this and curved it all the way around and pushed it in so you could see the stitch marks and stopped there. And then I turned it around and did the same thing, just so that it's kind of hard coming around that curve, at least for me. So that's how I did it. Then it comes with little needles in the back, right here. You open the back and pop out a needle. Thread it with the different embroidery threads that you can get. So I use this nice, I think it's called pine cone, this middle one. So I'm just going to thread that up and stitch around that real quick. So I'll just give you a little tip about threading the needle. If you put a little bit of glue, like glue stick glue, just rub it on the end, the string goes in really easy. So I start from the bottom, put a little knot. And honestly, it's super fast and super quick. And you just go all the way around to the other end and just sew your little straight stitch all the way around your little petal of your flower. Like this to me was way quicker. See, I missed a little hole there, so I'll just poke one in. Quicker than using my sewing machine and hauling it out just for one card. I mean, if your sewing machine is set up and you don't have this, go for it. You could probably even do this. I don't know how you would poke the holes, but you could probably use a stylus and just poke holes if you don't have a sewing machine or this Sew Easy tool. So there. Just going to poke. I don't even need to, actually. I'm just going to put a little knot in the back and tape that down, and then I'll show you what I did next. So I just got those little stitch lines all the way around my flower petal. One thing I forgot to mention, it's very important to have this piercing mat if you're using the Sew Easy, and it's by We Are Memory Keepers if you're looking for the entire set. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some brush corduroy and just a little foam brush and just kind of put a little detailing around the petal, all the different petals. Just a little bit of brush corduroy around all my flower petals. This is a great way, like I said, to use up scrap paper. Just amazing. So I started with a standard card size I can't even talk, 5.5 by 4.25. And again, I really liked the plainness of that card, leaving their flower was off to one side. So I'm going to go ahead and start attaching my flower. And again, I'm going to give it that asymmetrical sameness by having it off to one side. So I've laid it out kind of how I want it, and so I'm going to go ahead and glue that down, and then I'm just going to put this button, which I put some of the same embroidery thread through, and that will be my center, and it coordinates really nice with this vanilla colored cardstock. So I'll go ahead and get that glued down. It's a really simple card, but I love the sewing element of it, and you know, the cleanness of it, I guess. Not so much frou-frou. It's kind of like it's all in the details. Put that about there. And this is a funny flower because I thought most flower petals had 5 or 7 petals, uneven amounts, but this one looks best with 6, so whatever works. And kind of have them overlap a little. Do you see that? We can all touch each other and overlap just a bit. So I've gone ahead and glued my flower down, and you notice it's a little bit over to the left, closer to the fold. And then you'll see this thin line down here that I drew with a ruler, because I want to use the So Easy tool again, but I'm not going to start at the end or end at the end, and I always go crooked. So I lightly drew a line with a pencil. I just thought it'd be so much easier. So I'm going to take the same tool that I had before, the straight stitch one, this pink one, and just start here and just follow that pencil line. There. And then I can just erase the pencil marks, because I'm always getting crooked lines. There we go. So I'm going to take some more of that same embroidery thread, sorry that was a little close, and just stitch right all the way through those little dots that I created at the bottom. So there you can see my little stitched line. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Stampin' Up! Stamp. It comes from a little birthday cheer set, and this one says Celebrate You. And the reason I'm putting Celebrate You, because this may not necessarily be for a birthday, and I noticed in the text here it says something about the bride and bridegroom, and so this could be a simple little shower present or a wedding, simple wedding card. Kind of a whimsical, shabby chic wedding card, because it says bride and groom there and then Celebrate You. So I didn't want to put happy birthday, and I'm just going to line the sentiment up with my stitches and just press down. And I just smudged it a little bit, but that was my fault. So you can see that there. And the very last thing, just to tie this whole little card together, is I'm going to take my brushed corduroy and lightly brush around the edges of the card. I always think that this sort of masks any kind of smudges or flaws that you might have. It's like, oh, she did that on purpose. That big thumbprint is on purpose. So there you have it. My little card. I might trim those a little. Hang on. Trim my little tassels just a tiny, tiny bit. Yeah, that's better. And then you can take your needle and fluff them out a little bit like so. There. And I love the So Easy that the needles store in the back of the tool, so you don't have to be looking for them all the time. So here is the card that I was challenging from Pinterest. And here is what I came up with. This was the first one I did, and I noticed the flower is much a different size, even though I use the same petal. So I guess it's all about how close you glue them together. So either way is fine. But there's my card using my So Easy tool instead of hauling out my sewing machine. So give that a try. It's great inspiration. Like we continue to say, all of us that are doing this challenge, it inspires you and it motivates you and gets you thinking on how to use some of the stuff you have. This was all scraps. I've had my So Easy tool, and I think I've only used it once or twice before. So this was a great way to get that tool out and use it again. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and I hope you're all having a wonderful creative weekend. Bye.